Hey everyone, welcome to Ableton Live 12 Part 5, Audio and MIDI Effects. In this class, in this part of the giant sequence of classes, we're really going to focus on MIDI effects. Now I am going to walk you through every single audio and MIDI effect that we have in Live 12. But I'm also going to talk a lot about effect theory, how to use effects, the different types of effects, and what order they should go in, and how to do some other techniques with them like side chaining and bussing and things like that. So I highly recommend watching this class from beginning to end to get a feel for all of the effects. But after that, keep this class in your account and use it as kind of an encyclopedia. Pull it up whenever you want to know how to use some effect. You can always come back to it and rewatch any segment as you're working on tracks. Also, near the end of this class, we're going to talk about effect racks, audio effect racks especially, and those are one of the most powerful things in all of Live. If you haven't explored audio effect racks yet, you're in for a world of amazement. So let's get started and let's dive in. Off we go. So there's all the frequencies of our sound. Now, here's what we're seeing. So on the left, we have low sounds, see everything all at once. We can go up to this triangle here and click on it. Now, don't freak out. It looks like we have a million more settings here, but we don't. We quiet it down, and then we boost everything by the amount that we quieted it down. Okay, so we're gonna smush it, compress it, and then boost everything. Now this is my favorite. This is my kind of go-to for most effects, is to do. All right, so let's hear the three now. All right, let's dive in. So in this class, we're really going to focus on audio and MIDI effects. However, in Live 12, that's going to put us in 4 different areas here in our browser. Okay, we're going to look at audio effects, right? We'll go through all of these effects and look at how they all work. We're also going to look at MIDI effects. Okay, we'll look at all these MIDI effects and how they work. We're also going to look at modulators. These are effects that focus on modulating things. If you've been following the rest of my Live 12 series of classes, you kind of know what modulation is already, but we'll get much deeper into it with these things. And then lastly, Max for Live. So we're not going to go real deep into Max for Live, but we will discover a few Max for Live effects because they are sprinkled all over the place. You'll see here, even in audio effects, there are a few Max for Live effects that pop up, like this LFO, this align delay. You can tell by the icon that they're Max for Live. They have these little lines popping out of them. Let's see if there's any others. Yeah, shaper. MIDI effects, there's probably a few. Envelope, MIDI, expression control, shaper MIDI. These are all Max for Live. Modulators are all Max for Live effects. So we're not going to go into building effects with Max for Live, because if you're not familiar with Max for Live, basically it's like its own programming language that lives within Live and will let us build things. Sometimes things get built that are so cool that Ableton says, we're going to put this into the main release. And that's what you see here when you see Max for Live effects all over the program. So you can build your own effects with Max for Live. And we will do that in, I think, part 7 of this monster everything there is to know about Ableton Live class. We're going to devote that just to Max and learning how the basics of programming in Max works. But in this class, no programming. We're just going to use some of the Max for Live effects that have been programmed by other people. So those are our 4 areas that we're going to be working in: audio effects, MIDI effects, modulators, and Max for Live. We won't go into plugins too much. Plugins might be effects. Plugins can be effects, they can be instruments, and they could be a few other things too. But the plugins are unique to everybody's system. You will have some plugins that other people won't have. These are things made not by Ableton, by anyone else. So we're not going to focus on plugins in this class. We're just going to focus on the Ableton made stuff: audio effects, MIDI effects, modulators, and then some Max for Live stuff. Okay, cool. So let's get good at all those things, and let's start at MIDI effects.